are you doing? Come on, let's go.
It is the Frank and Friends Show, a Seymour Smokies Insider Edition. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And Kathryn, we are excited because you know one thing that you and I both like to do?
We like to drink.
And today we're not going to drink, we're going to learn
about what we like to drink.
We're here at Tennessee Shine Company. They've got a beautiful distillery in Sevierville that is now, only just recently, open to the public for tours.
It's so exciting. You get to see exactly how all of these drinks are made. So I'm excited to see how it does.
What we've done to make this a true insider edition is, frankly, we snuck in after hours so that we can get a little bit closer to the production line, a little bit closer into the ingredients, and we're going to talk with Master Distiller Blake Jones.
You know what?
What?
I hear he was also a NASCAR driver.
Yes, when you take the Tennessee Moonshine History Tour, if you will, over at Tennessee Shine Company's location on 66 on Winfield Dunn Parkway, there is a NASCAR exhibit, including one of Blake's old cars that he actually raced. You know, he won Talladega. He's, you know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, but now here he is taking a whole new turn, if you will. So I guess he turned right.
Did he turn right?
Well, because you always turn left in NASCAR.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, so instead of turning left, he turned right.
If he was turning left, he'd still be going around the same track. So he had to at some point make a U-turn.
And take a right, yeah. And he took a right here to the distillery.
Right, and that's exactly it. So come check this out at Tennessee Shine Company. It's an all-ages tour to see how the moonshine is made and bottled. And then you go elsewhere to buy it. And believe me, you're going to want to after you see the quality ingredients. All right, well, let's get to it.
Let's go.
All right, Frank and Friends Show, Insider Edition, Inside the Moonshine. Blake Jones, moonshine distiller and NASCAR guy.
Yes, sir. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, I would disagree with that. I think you're quite good at what you do. But when I went to Tennessee Shine Company and took the Moonshine History Tour, you're on the wall there. In fact, one of your old cars, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So that was one of our actual race-driven cars.
Nice.
That's amazing.
2015 or 16, I think.
Well, there is, I mean, moved from racing into moonshine, but there really is a historic connection.
Definitely. That's how NASCAR got started.
Right, Kathryn?
I don't know. Is that really right?
Yeah, so NASCAR actually got started. People was bootlegging through the Prohibition and had to outrun the law, and then when the Prohibition ended, they started taking those cars and racing them on the beach.
That's amazing. That does make sense. I think I did have cousins who were involved in that.
Do you know where Thunder Road is, Kathryn?
I do not.
I'm going to blow her mind.
Ready? Tell me.
Kingston Pike in Bearden.
No, are you serious? That's amazing.
It really is. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That was the moonshine run back in the day. They would hide it in the trunk of the car and try to get by as fast as they can.
I love it.
And that's the whole point with NASCAR is they use, what's called stock car. It's not a race car, not an Indianapolis 500 car made for racing. It's a regular car that's been retrofitted for speed.
That's fantastic. So you're undercover, basically. You're like a spy for moonshine. James Bond.
Smuggler, I think, is the technical word. Yeah. But it's all legal now. And here we are in Sevier County where it is legal to make and sell moonshine because...
So Sevier County, it's illegal to have a liquor store.
Right, we don't have a liquor store.
But if you have a distillery that is making the alcohol, you can sell it in a storefront there.
Now, theoretically, what would a distillery look like?
Pretty close, right? This will make do if not.
Yeah. So we are standing in front of stills that make the actual Tennessee Shine Company whiskey. And I say whiskey, I also include moonshine because moonshine is a whiskey.
Correct. So we do a whiskey, a bourbon, a vodka, moonshine, and rum.
Do all of those start as whiskeys and then become the other thing?
So whiskey is going to be from anything 51% corn or more.
Okay, all right.
It's going to be a corn whiskey.
All right, whereas rum is made more from...
sugar cane, molasses.
And vodka, it
Delicious.
comes from...
Vodkas actually can be made from anything. Grain,
potatoes, right?
It does come from potatoes. Some people make wheated vodka that comes from grain. It just comes off the still at a higher proof. And
just make sure Kathryn gets some, whatever.
Yeah. But what's the difference? You said that there's some stills behind us and also a cooker. So what's the difference between those?
So no matter what you're doing, you're going to start with the cooker.
Oh, okay.
The cooker is what's going to lead to fermentation. Mm-hmm. So no matter if you're liquefying sugars to make rum or molasses, thinning it up, blending it to water, you're going to heat that up, add some enzymes, and then you're going to pitch some yeast in. Same stuff you use when you're making bread.
Okay.
And it'll distill off and turn all those good sugars to alcohol.
That's awesome. Is that similar to brewing beer? Because I have done some brew beering.
So distilling,
Brewberry.
distilling is what makes it a liquor, actually. So if you're making beer, you're making moonshine, you're making whiskey, it doesn't really matter. The process is all going to start the same. You may use different grains, but the fermentation is going to be similar on no matter what you do.
That's cool.
Well, let's take a look around, starting with, I guess, the actual grain.
This is actual yellow corn, hammer milled. Going to look similar to like a corn mill.
Okay, let me get a close-up of that, because to me it looks like, something that I would have in my actual kitchen that I would, go and buy at the actual supermarket.
Yeah, it's going to be very close to what you use to make cornbread or corn muffins. Just hammered. So we're going to add water to that. Cook it.
Wait, when you said hammered, I'm sorry, were you talking about me or were you talking about the...
That's you later. That's
After. Yeah. So you take the grain and you put it in like some sort of bucket.
No, we'll pick that bag up, and it's
pick the bag up.
Yeah, with the forklift. And
Oh, okay.
okay.
It looks like.
Kathryn is impressed by your He-Man skills.
I was like, wow, okay.
So we'll pick it up with the forklift, and it's got a almost an elephant-looking trunk under it.
Okay.
So then we'll put that over the manhole and open it up.
Nice.
All right, and then it cooks in there.
Yeah. So we'll start out with about 600 gallons of water in this. Heat it to 190 degrees. Then we'll dump in the yellow corn on top of the water. Cook that for about an hour to cook the natural sugars out of the corn. So once we get the sugars out of the corn, we'll begin the cool down process. We'll add the wheat and malted barley on the cool down process. And then once we get it cooled back down, we'll pitch in our yeast. And from there, we'll transfer it over here to these ferment.
When you say transfer, there's a lot of pipes involved, or how does it transfer?
So everything over here is actually transferred with a pump and just
so
flexible
physically.
hoses.
Okay,
Yeah, it comes
so-
out
You
of the bottom.
attach it.
All
bottom
right.
there, and we'll pump it across to the bottom of those.
Very cool.
Okay.
So this was cooked earlier today. Corn is actually capped off on the top. As that works off, you'll see it bubbling, see it working away, actually rotating over, but that cap will begin to fall in the beer.
So cap meaning it is
So the
a...
actual grain is what
just-
I'm calling the cap.
Yeah, so there's liquid underneath it.
There is. As the fermentation goes on and it gets ready to distill, the liquid will rise to the top and the grain will fall.
Oh, look at that. It looks like cornbread. Looks delicious.
Would that have... that probably would not taste great yet.
So this one's going to be bitter. It's going to have a beer taste. A lot of people actually do drink it. This one is going to be to the bitter side. After you cook, it's going to taste like a sweet corn oatmeal.
Oh.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice.
All right.
Do you put a fork in it to know that it's ready?
Yeah.
Like it comes out
If
clean?
you pull it out and it's clean, then you're good to go.
Perfect.
You're kidding, right?
Perfect.
No.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm being serious, Frank.
I'm
This
trying
is
to trick.
how you make-
I'm going to go home and try to make some moonshine based on only the information in this program. So this container is going to be made into moonshine tomorrow morning?
This will be pumped into the still tomorrow morning. The still will be fired up.
It looks like banana pudding. Or
I just need
chicken
some,
and dumplings. I mean,
I
what
need
is it?
some vanilla wafers.
Okay. So what is this now? It's called
This is going to be the mash.
mash.
It looks kind of like, at Top Jump before you jump off as Tosca, like into the mash pit. It's kind of feels like it might
You're
be
thinking,
foamy. I'm thinking like if I do my next production of Tosca, could it be fun to come up to the tower here, sing my
jump.
last note, and then jump into the mash?
You don't jump into a mash pit, you jump into a mosh pit. There's one letter makes all the difference, Kathryn.
Okay.
It'll go into the still, which will be, this is our 1,000-gallon still. This is our biggest one. This is a steam jacketed pot still.
It's so complicated.
Is it connected through all of this?
It is. So this first column is going to be the column that would normally sit on top of it. It's got a head on it and then a side column. So a side column steel is not my preference. I would rather have a top column steel straight out.
It looks very steampunk somehow.
It
I don't know
does.
exactly.
It reminds me of Chitty
So-
Chitty Bang Bang,
Each,
right?
Yeah.
there, it kind of does look like a steam engine too. I mean, it's got all the stuff on it, but each one of these bubble plates you see are the glass doors. That's going to be a plate. So each time it goes through that, it's going to redistill and raise the proof. So this time, this actual still has 4 plates on it. This is a great whiskey still or a gin still. So the side of it, the other stainless part with a door on it, would be where the gin basket would go. So if you was running gin, you would put the botanicals or the flowery part of the gin.
Oh, like juniper?
Part. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Juniper berries, any kind of green leaf you put, anything like that. So it would go in that basket, and the steam would then pass through that basket and pull flavor from that.
Very cool.
Oh, that's nice.
So you put that in there ahead of time.
Correct. So you will actually put some of the botanicals in the mash, and anything flowery will go in the gin basket.
Okay.
So this still has different facets, and depending on which knobs you open and which valves you close.
Depends on which alcohol you're going to distill.
Where it depends where it goes. All right, nice.
So this still is heated with steam jackets. Your old traditional stills would have been heated with a propane burner from underneath.
Well, a lot of restaurants have the steam jacketed kettles for making soup.
It's just a lot more controllable, a lot more even heat, so you don't have to worry about scorching.
They have steam jacketed kettles at the Body Farm, but I won't tell you what they're used for.
Yeah, please don't.
We don't need to know that.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
With that difference, this still will be our vodka still.
Which one?
The big column here that looks
Oh, wait.
like an apparatus.
So do you put?
Looks like a flute. Kathryn, you should play it.
Do these each have different baskets?
Correct. So those all have baskets with mesh in them. You can see the mesh lining. So that's going to strip flavor, raise proof. So that's why vodka tastes like nothing, honestly. It's just alcohol. It's pure, it's clean, crisp. You're going to put the liquid, the grain, everything in here. But as I stated earlier, we cook water in with this. So you want to get all of the alcohol out of this with no water. Or as little water as you can.
So you boil off the water.
So alcohol will start vaporizing at a lot lower temperature than water will.
Oh, so you keep the water and remove the alcohol.
So water becomes a boil at 212 degrees.
I remember that from science.
Alcohol, you want to distill at about 195 degrees.
So the water stays liquid.
Yeah, the water stays liquid, alcohol goes vapor, goes up through the column.
I never realized that. That makes total sense to me, that the alcohol then actually vaporizes. So when you're distilling, you're liquefying the alcohol, not the water.
Exactly. So once you go up through the column, it's going to come down the other side as a vapor. And the tube part of this is what's called the condenser. So it's going to have water around a bunch of tubes in there.
Yeah, to cool it.
Yeah, and it'll turn it back through condensation back to a liquid and spit it out as a...
Does it
come out here?
Drip or gush, or how would you describe?
It'll run a stream. So
right where her hand is?
Yeah, so this still is capable of pushing about a gallon every 4 minutes. So
That's 1 quart per minute.
yes.
Look at me.
Using grain to distill, adding no sugar, a whiskey mash blend, you're going to pull about 10% yield. So if you run 1,000 gallons of mash, you're going to pull 100 gallons of liquor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
So it's not a real quick process.
So this is full of liquor.
It is. And this is actually from this morning's run. So
Do you have a straw?
Stop, Kathryn.
so this is uncut. This is going to be about 144 proof.
Wow. Wow. How do you get up to like a 151 proof for some of those really ridiculously high proofs?
So once you go over 160, it'll no longer be classified as a whiskey.
Oh.
So once you go over 160, you can have whiskey at 160 and above, which is more of like an Everclear vodka range.
Yeah.
But the vodka still is how you do that. So you could take this alcohol and put it back into this still as straight alcohol and redistill it instead of putting mash in, and you could raise the proof and strip flavor off.
So you have to make an extra effort.
Yeah.
Normally 144 is where it would max out.
Yeah, so that's about where ours will...
And 144 then would be 72% alcohol?
correct.
Okay.
So from
Because
there-
Look at you, math.
my
Mr. Owl.
dad used to do the PR for Bacardi rum.
I can smell the alcohol. You know, when
Yeah, can you open
lift
it
at
again?
that. Yeah, it's like you get this nice whiff.
Go ahead, Kathryn.
So usually a good number for us is 135. So that's where straight off the still come from, our highest proof moonshine.
So when people have
It is.
the white lightning or with the cliche version of moonshine, that's what we're thinking about as a run.
Yeah, the stuff that they like ran through their car radiator and they went blind when they drank. And
That's a
stuff like that.
135-ish?
So a lot of people cut their moonshine. So like Popcorn Sutton sold 80 proof moonshine.
Oh, all right. And people thought it was wild.
Yeah, people thought it was crazy, but it was a good taste, and that's why people liked it so much.
Yeah.
Because it was drinkable. The 135, I would never drink at that high proof of
But when you flavor it, you're knocking it down to like the
Yeah.
normal, like a 40 proof, not, I mean, 80 proof, right?
Yeah,
or
so
lower.
we do flavors everywhere. We have a 75 proof salted caramel. We have a lot of 50 proofs, some 60 proof stuff. And then you get down into the rum-based creams that's 34 proof, and they're like dessert.
I was at a corporate retreat one time in Ohio, so we brought a jar of your moonshine with us, right?
Yeah.
As you do.
But it was a flavored one, and I looked at it, and it was, like in the 60 range, right? So all these other people who've never had moonshine before, they're like, ooh, I'm getting so wasted. And the two of us who are from the Tennessee cluster, we take it and we're like, arr, and they're like, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy.
So moonshine has such a bad stigma because,
It does.
because of the old time ways of the prohibition.
Yeah.
Somebody got into their grandfather's moonshine and it burnt so bad, and it was probably the uncut stuff, and
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
ever want to touch it again. They're
The
like,
difference is that my coworker and I had read the label. We knew exactly what we had brought along.
yeah.
Moonshine is delicious. Don't be afraid of it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I enjoy the smoothness of it, believe it or not. It sounds like the opposite of what you would associate, but I think to me.
So we do moonshine a little bit different at
Yeah.
Tennessee Shine Company anyway. Back in the woods, if you think about it, they wanted to carry as little stuff into the woods as they could to make alcohol.
Yeah.
So they're not going to tote that big tote of grain we looked at earlier back into the woods.
That's how many pounds?
That's 1,450 pounds
Woo!
there. So that's almost a ton of grain.
Yeah.
Goes into one of our cooks.
That would be
They're-
2,000 pounds.
Yeah, they're going to take, 400 pounds of sugar instead, and a little bit of corn.
Okay.
And they're going to make more of what would have been a rum.
That's the backwoods guys, the
Correct.
illegal guys.
So
Yeah.
moonshine come from the term of running underneath the moon, just the
Yeah.
prohibition. So anything could be moonshine. It wasn't a certain kind of liquor.
Oh.
So the moonshine we're selling today at Tennessee Shine Company is more of like a white dog or an unaged bourbon build or whiskey build.
Yeah.
So we add no sugar. We distill all the natural sugars from the grain. And you're not going to have that hangover the next morning from our straight liquors. It's going to be a smooth, refreshing
Yeah.
taste and
Nice.
something you can enjoy.
Nice.
But also, I mean, you've got to be moderate, and that's the beautiful thing about it is, you know your limit, and you say, oh, that's good. Thank you very much. I'll stop here.
Yeah, but it tastes so good, you can't stop.
You
at your
can't
limit.
stop.
It does. That's
Yeah.
why when I told you I finished off my bottle of Moon Pie Salted Caramel, but I did it one shot at a time. I measured it out. I closed the bottle back up, put it back on the shelf, and that's,
Frank, drinking responsibly.
Yeah. So this is going to be all the pre-mixed product stored and ready to go into bottling. That's Moon Pie Banana, for example. The next one is a bourbon.
It looks banana from the outside of it. I remember tasting that at the tasting room over on Winfield Dunn. I liked it.
So we got bourbon next that's ready to go into bottling.
Is there a code on here that I'm missing that you recognize?
Yeah,
Or?
so we have tote numbers on top.
Oh, all right.
So all of our stuff is batched out and computerized in the system, and we keep track of it that way.
Wow, and just these giant vats completely ready to go into bottles.
Yeah. So this is we batch out usually 1,000 gallons at a time. Then we'll store it in these 250-gallon IBC totes.
Yeah.
And pass it on to bottling and put the good stuff on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found some of the good stuff. Apple pie only.
Ooh, what does that mean?
So this is our base liquor for our apple pie.
I love apple pie.
So
Moonshine, more than I love actual apple pie.
apple pie was one of the first flavors that we released. So
And that has, though, origins into the pre-legal days. I mean, that was kind of a starter flavor for a lot of the guys in the woods, right?
there's a lot of songs about apple pie moonshine. So that's one of our special flavors because we don't order anything in, any flavor extract for it. So
That's amazing.
Our friends down at the Apple Barn,
We
Apple
love
Valley
the
apple
apple
We're
pie.
like, oh, we've been there.
we get all of the juice from them for this. So this
Oh my
will
gosh.
be an unfiltered apple cider. Still has a lot of pulp in it. We cook that together with some special ingredients, and then we'll add alcohol, and you have apple pie just like Grandma used to make.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a great
I love it.
collaboration. That's fantastic.
So that is really cool. That's why it's a special flavor, because there's a wall over there with a bazillion food flavors that would be commercial grade, same as like you said, if I was making Krispy Kreme donuts, I would order the flavor from the same company that Tennessee Shine Company uses.
Correct. So there's
I know, say the name of it because I'm partial to it.
Yeah.
Mama Murphy's?
Yeah, we use Mother Murphy's.
Mother Murphy's.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mother Murphy's for ours. They do a lot of flavoring for a lot of big companies.
Nice.
So,
Well, they do a good job.
yeah, they do a very good job with our moonshine
Is
flavors.
that a connection there between your moon pie flavoring? Because I mean, you've got the real flavor from moon pie, right?
So yes, they do the moon pie flavoring also.
So no wonder yours is so legit.
Yeah, the moon pie actually come from one of my connections. We made racing, and
Oh, very cool.
the guy that actually bought all the rights to the moon pie stuff, other than the bakery, the actual bakery of moon
Yeah.
pie. So he can sell T-shirts, he can sell any memorabilia for
Yeah.
moon pie.
Nice.
So yeah,
it.
it come from that. He bought that
And the
side
best
out.
thing is when you buy a jar of it, there's a little moon pie taped to the top.
Yeah, that's so when you get
Really?
too drunk to find your way home,
you can have a cookie.
you can have a cookie and think about
Get a
what you've
snack.
done.
Think about what you've done.
So these are whiskey barrels.
All of that's going to be bourbon barrel.
That's bourbon, okay. And bourbon means it's the first time through, right?
Correct. So it's going to be a new American white oak barrel, and the entry proof has to be under 125, and it's got to be over 51%.
This is white oak.
Yeah, American white oak charred barrels. First time use, they have to be new barrels.
Who makes barrels? A Cooper, I guess.
Yeah,
but-
there's a lot of barrel coopers. There's different chars they do, different ways they do.
Okay, so a brand new barrel, the whiskey goes in it, and that allows it to become bourbon.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
And then after you use the barrels, what happens to the barrel?
We sell the barrels after we use them one time, but a lot
you-
of people use them for whiskey.
Okay.
A lot of wineries really want bourbon barrels.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you said some people will crush the wood or squeeze the wood to get all the
Yeah.
last drops out.
So while it's in the barrel, each year that it's in the barrel, you'll lose alcohol. You'll lose percentage.
That's called the angel share because it goes up to the sky.
Correct.
Like this.
A lot of people, though, this wood, the same way a wooden boat used to be, will leak until it's sealed up. So alcohol seeps into this wood, and a lot of people will press these barrels to get what's called the devil's cut back out of it.
Nice.
Am I smelling through the wood? Am I smelling that aroma or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get some of the
Yeah.
aroma there. All of this is going to be actual sugar that's coming out of the wood, out of the alcohol.
It's like a sweet potato.
What?
You know, when you cook a sweet potato in the tinfoil in the oven,
Yeah.
the sugar, it seeps out.
I guess I've never cooked. But smell the wood, Kathryn. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's good.
It's nice.
It is nice. Look at this shelf.
Oh.
This is like my dream. Big Daddy's bourbon whiskey. That looks good. The blackberry shine, key lime green. This is good.
Here's the one. Here's my jam down here.
Salted caramel. You know what's really interesting to me right now is the Hellboy Hellwater.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for letting us interrupt your work.
You go right. We are done.
Oh, sweet. So you're
Nice.
cleaning.
Yeah, they got banker hours, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Nice.
That's why we're allowed to look at this side of the bottling line. Normally this would be off limits, but the jars, the moonshine jars, come right down through here.
Yeah, so they're rinsing out right now. They bottled chocolate cream today, so you can see
Okay.
the cloudy water there.
So they're cleaning the pipes so that tomorrow they can make a new flavor.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. And then, so the bottles get actually filled here.
Yeah, so this is the filler for the moonshine jar or the whiskey jar. This will be the capper, the bar top capper. It'll handle
Yeah.
that in if you're doing whiskey bottles.
Yep.
Nice.
The next station will be moonshine jars, so this will be pushed out of the way as it is now.
And then the regular mason jar lids come down the pike here.
Correct. So if you was running whiskey bottles, you would raise this up out of the way. And
I feel like I'm on an I Love Lucy episode. And I'm getting ready to have to bottle the moonshine.
so
And
from
it-
there, this is going to be the labeling part of the machine. It'll pass through here. This creates separation. Then the doors will actually spit the label out and put it on.
And there's the labels right over there.
Yeah, all kinds of labels.
There they are.
And somebody's got to be quality control to make sure the right label goes on the right jar.
So this part's a special part. This does all the date coding for us. So if we ever had to do a recall, this
Yeah.
is where we would have the bottle codes to be
Okay.
able to recall back.
Yeah, so you know the lot number or whatever. Okay.
The next part's going to be the tamper seal. It goes through there. It'll put the seal on the bottle. But from there, you can see it's spread out. It'll sleeve over the lid and it cuts it. And then the next part's the heat tunnel that shrink bands it on.
Okay, so that's just a little plastic shrink wrap.
Yeah, so it'll go on as just a piece of glass, and it spits it out.
Oh, wow.
Finished product.
And that's what they just ran today. That is absolute fresh.
Fresh off the still right
So that's left over.
Fresh off the still?
Yeah, fresh off the still.
Blake Jones, thank you for your hospitality. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a great time touring the Tennessee Shine Company here on Douglas Dam Road. How do we find the location?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty easy to find the production facility. We're right behind PetSmart, Staples,
Yeah.
Buddy's Barbecue, all that great stuff.
And the address for your GPS?
745 Old Douglas Dam.
Right, and this is an all ages tour because you don't drink moonshine here, you just bottle it and make it.
Correct. Yeah, so either one of the tours, the Moonshine History Museum or the tour is both for kids, parents, everybody.
And you buy the tickets for both tours
At www.tnshineco.com.
Well, awesome. We had a fantastic time on this Insider Edition for Seymour Smokies of the Frank and Friends Show. And if you like our show and you want to learn more about us,
You can find us on frankandfriendshow.com.
yeah, thanks. So you can find our regular podcast there and all of our Seymour Smokies episodes. And our merch store. You know, I know you guys sell merch, but so do we.
Yeah, frankandfriendshow.com/store.
All right. Blake, thanks a ton. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. It is the Frank and Friends Show, Seymour Smokies Insider Edition. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
We'll talk to you again next time.